Now we will consider Ragachikitsa as a personalized approach. A personalized approach means a counseling for positive change in ourselves, sort of self-healing technique. Suppose, no, when I was a child in my home, there was a lot of paddy was being cultivated because my father is a good farmer. The paddy that was brought from the well-watered, low-lying Punja cold fields were of good-sized grains and well-developed. But the same seed which was grown on the sides of the field and in the grounds around, where it is processed, some smaller and lesser developed paddy was obtained. How did this happen? Paddy in a good rainy season and in a well watered and well maintained field gives more production as well as large sized grains. And paddy grown in a drought season or when it is in an adverse circumstance or a pest infested area, all these developed lesser product as well as smaller size. Why? See, when you become a student of biology, you will know the reason. No, the organism, whether it is a plant or an animal, has an inherent capacity for its own growth, its own maintenance and enhancement, which we call development. The environmental adversities cause dwarfing and weak constitution, but it does not destroy the innate urge within us to survive, even in that situation. And the race survive as dwarf, weak strains to show its real nature when another season of good conditions prevail. So that is within every living thing, whether it is a plant or an animal or a human being. Now we can trust in the wisdom of all organisms. Have trust in that wisdom, whether it may be small or big, in every individual that is there. And this is true of all our clients, all the human beings whom a therapist will meet. So it is the trust in the innate ability of all organisms to try to self-protect and self-heal and maintain itself that lead to the personalized approach of music therapy, which I have used. That personalized approach depends upon the trust in our people, in our clients. Now, the therapist is just facilitating to find this self-healing power innate in each being, to identify the discrepancy and to get over it. The innate power of human beings is best seen in infants who know what they need and what they do not need. They know it. What I need and what I do not need, they know it. It's an innate thing that is within them, inbuilt. Now, they stop taking milk when it is enough for them. Just stop it. They won't eat if they are not hungry. They love to be caressed, loved and talked to in a very soft tone and cherish such people who give them this security of love. They reject the negative opposite type of people too. They just negate. Children know it, how to do. We will find how to do say that. But these children will just negate such people. They love a new experience just for this sense of a new discovery and the enjoyment of a new discovery, because they have a wonder, innate wonder in finding out new thing, a new discovery. Pain or unexpected loud sounds, etc., they reject and they do not like it. So we learn from from a small infant, instead of teaching it, the principle of music therapy. The principle of music therapy is You have to learn from an infant. I think we can even learn it from our small pet animals. They too show the same instinct. Anyway, if a person get unconditional positive regard, he or she is in a continuous state of self maintenance and enhancement, just as a paddy seed in a good field, well looked after. Such persons will be able to transmit this feeling to the coming to next generations. The environment and the organism is a highly complex gestalt with quite a few possible permutations mutually influencing both. Stress is something that is ubiquitous, you know. All people have stress to some extent, but all do not fall ill. Only a few fall ill. In the first stage of stress, the person may not disclose it to anyone and possibly may not know it at all. And therefore, in the first stage, we may not get a person coming for help. But a therapist can start help in an educational institution itself to prevent stress before it starts and act as a anti-stress mechanism to entire society. So both prevention and cure for diseases starts with music therapy. In the second stage, when the person feels there is something wrong with my system, with my body system, with my mind system, yet and attributes the problem to someone else, not to our own system, but to someone else, finding fault with others or some other object. And this increased the stress for both the parties. This happens in many houses, in many homes. And because of these negative emotions, they exchange words of anger, which exacerbate the stress. Instead of loving words, anger, loud voices increase the stress in the home. At this stage, also, a person does not come for help since the person does not think that there is a problem with him or her, but project the problem onto the or the imagines the problem to the other person in the house and get angry with that person. And this vicious circle goes on. And this will affect even the surrounding people. Most of the people who come for psychological and professional stress reduction may be in this stage. When this stage is over, which is the third stage, it, that manifestation of some symptoms and signs of stress as disease, and the person will say that the doctor says that I have such and such a disease. It is at that stage, stress related diseases. The person coming to music therapist for a physically diagnosed disease will be at this stage. The person remembers his or past life with all its pleasures and pains, remembers their parents, their habits, how the person resembles them, how he or she is imitating or feeling the same way as them, and about the present circumstances and differences from the golden age, which they imagine as the golden age of childhood, etc., etc., when he or she was perfectly healthy. That's what they think. Now the person is conscious of his or her genes and innate tendencies and how they contradict with the new surrounding feelings as well as scientific analysis combined in the logistic thinking. The client wants a well-balanced, healthy life, wants to heal the stress and its effects. In a hospital, we are seeing such people. So, hospital-based music therapy practice is with such third stage onwards. The other things are only family-based therapy. Now, by this time, the stress has become matured into a type of disease, and uh, maybe the patient may be coming with a cardiovascular stress-related diseases, cardiovascular or gastrointestinal disease, or even a multi-system involvement. The therapist has to start from any of these three stages depending upon the individual. So it is an individualized approach. At what stage has already the disease started, or Is it in the first stage, second stage, third stage, or beyond that? Like that, we will have to find out which stage it is. The fourth stage is the change. If you give therapy, there will be a change brought about. The change brought about by the therapy. By musical experiences and musical life panorama, one has to assist the person to remember the moment to moment experiences to flow continuously, uninhibitedly, changing the concept of the person about the problem. That person has to change his concept about the problem. In the initial stage, there may be emotional outbursts with opening up of a closed door for years, but the person is now not conceptualizing a problem but simply living that experiences, accepting it in a thoughtful manner. That change has happened. This is done in a genuine naturalness, and the person is getting acclimatized to functioning. When the counselor's facilitation is no more needed, the person has started to trust one's own feelings and one's own body, to accept it as it is, and transformation become complete later. He doesn't project it to another object or another person. So when such a positive change happen, we call it a fully free transformed being, an integrated process of positive change. Such a person is a fully functioning person. The stage at which the therapist see the person, the severity of the disease or the stress, and the communication of the therapist and the receptivity of the client has roles in bringing about a total change for self-healing. But change does happen, whether small or big, is a positive factor. Each moment is lived to the full, and this therapy works on the high trust on the innate function of any organism, whether plant, animal, man, whether unicellular or multicellular. Hence, it is science and art integrated together.